Harris just hit one at the last. Harris just hit one at the last. What up, friends? I am Geoff Fienberg here with you. We're another edition of Odds Checkers PGA Tour Outright Selections. That is right. Harris hit one at the last. Not one time on 18th in regulation, two times because we needed it on the 8th playoff hole. Thank you, Harris English. We cash that 50-1 ticket right here, courtesy of oddschecker.com/US. We found that best number on the grid, 50-1. Using that odds checker grid. We'll get right back at it again this week. I am Geoff Fienberg. We're going to break down the Rocket Mortgage Classic from Detroit. Just a second. I got 4 outright picks for you today. 2 at 28-1 and 2 flirting at 50-1. No each ways. Straight in there for the outright selections. It's getting to an interesting time in the PGA Tour season. The fields are going to be lackluster for the next couple of weeks. We have the Rocket Mortgage, we have the John Deere, but then we get right into it. Open Championship at Royal St. George's. I'm super excited. I'll be breaking it all down here for you at oddschecker.com/US. But we go back. Well, we start a run, I guess, right now on Donald Ross Design Golf Courses, friends. We are here. Oh, God. Just looking for my key stat metrics. I already did a song and dance for you. You think I'm going to redo that? No. So you'll just have to bear with me for a second. 7,370 yards, par 72. We begin a little run of Donald Ross Design Courses. Out with the Pete Dye, bring in the Donald Ross. So we'll have some Donald Ross disciples, bent grass greens, a little POA mix. Last 2 winners here. We've only been here 2 times. Bryson -23, Nate Lashley -25. Listen, you know I don't like to go to courses for the first time. I don't know anything to go by. We don't know past scores. We don't know past type of winners. We don't know who's been successful. I don't think we learned much from these 2 iterations either. We have literally a Monday qualifier who probably won between 500-1, 1,000-1. I don't think Nate Lashley was even listed in some pre-tournament books. He was such a late ad. I don't even think he was available in the DraftKings games. He essentially led wire to wire. I want to say he was first-round leader. I don't even think he was available to wager on first-round leader. So he just blew everything up. The total opposite happens last year with Bryson DeChambeau. The supreme chalk. We were all starting to see the first signs of Hulkamaniac Bryson, and he dominated. He was dominant off the tee, number one. He was dominant in putting, number one. It was like the scary or amazing scene, however you wanted to put it. Like, oh my God, what happens when not only Bryson drives the ball like that, he putts number one in the field. Nonetheless, as we come here this week, to me, it's about off the tee, par 5 scoring. It's those, low to medium range par 4s that are like 350 to 420 type yardage, nothing too long. Pretty much all these guys can get into their wheelhouses off the tee. So approach does matter, and putting. Obviously most weeks you need a ton of putt luck to win on the PGA Tour, but through the 2 versions of this tournament in Detroit here, we have seen that you have to putt really well, essentially, to finish in the top 10. Both years, an average of nearly over 4 strokes gained putting is what was required for those players in the top 10 in both in our 2 previous trips here, which is pretty strange, right? Normally putting doesn't, obviously you got to putt to win. You got to be a clutch putter. That can't be said enough, but for the statistics to bear out the importance of putting is honestly a bit surprising. But the greens, the fairways are wide. The fairways allow for opportunities for everybody, and these greens are big. So I guess it makes sense. Guys are in the fairway. Guys are in the green. There'll be a handful of guys sticking it to 3 feet all week, 5 feet, and there'll be a ton of guys that are just unconscious from, middle of the green, 10, 15, 25 foot, putt range this week. So I guess that's where we are. Bit of a disclaimer. Yeah, we're off a winner. I don't even remember watching these last two events. Where I am presently in Canada, it is a long weekend. It is Canada Day. And historically, this event has fallen on that holiday. I get out of here. I didn't really even recall watching Lashley or Bryson win. You could argue this would be a good week to take a week off, but no, I don't want to do that. I love talking PGA Tour golf. I love giving out right selections, and I love starting my grind each week, checking out that odds checker grid. We're a few minutes in here, and I haven't even gotten to any picks yet. So you're probably like, Fienberg, that song and dance was enough. You could have gotten right to the picks, pal. Well, before I do, like, sub, comment, all that fun stuff, like that video. It shows your support of me, and I really do appreciate it. Sub to this channel so the videos drop right into your feed. And of course, there'll be another one coming tomorrow from me. And leave a comment. Tell me who you think is going to win the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit this week. Always, no more your time. I'll get right into it. Off the bat here, I'm going with Jason Kokrak, 28-1 when using that odds checker grid. I honestly don't even have many notes. I don't even have a note written on Kokrak. I pretty much just loaded up his stats. The guy has been absolutely unconscious. Driving distance matters. Putting apparently matters. North of 20-1, he's the total package. At 28-1, you can make the case we are getting extreme value. Well, I don't want to say extreme value. We are getting value on Jason Kokrak. The guy has already won twice this year. He has been phenomenal off the tee. He has been one of the most consistent putters on the PGA Tour. Let me rein that in a little bit. For Jason Kokrak has established himself as a very strong putter. 1, 2, 3, 4. In his last 8 rounds, he's only lost strokes putting one time. That was at the Arnold Palmer, all the way back, in that Florida swing. He has been immaculate with the driver, so good with the irons, and he is putting incredible. He out-dueled Spieth with leaving balls in the bunker. Like, he couldn't get up and down from couldn't get the ball out of the bunker. He was still making his putts. I could continue to rave about Jason Kokrak, but he really does give the skill set you would want here at a discounted price. For a while, even before Kokrak had his 2021 win, made these comparisons. I don't understand why Corey Connors gets all this love, gets all these short odds. Jason Kokrak is the guy that is playing nearly just as well, and to me brought more win equity to the table. We already saw that. He won at the Charles Schwab. But I would go as far to say, let's say Corey Connors won the Charles Schwab. What would his number be this week? 20-1? 22-1? So I don't know. I feel bad. I don't know why I'm bringing Connors into this at all. But I'm trying to find a way to stress to you that I actually do believe the way Kokrak has been playing and how underappreciated he really is from the PGA Tour public has allowed an opportunity to get a bit of value here on Jason Kokrak at 28-1. I am in on Jason this week. Sticking at this number of 28-1, I would argue this pick actually represents way less value than Jason Kokrak, but equal opportunity. Well, how am I gonna tie myself, I guess, out of that knot, you would ask? Joaquin Niemann, 28-1, guys, on that odds checker grid. I have bet Niemann at 28-1. I have probably been backing Niemann unfairly at some courses that I shouldn't have, at some courses that probably don't suit what he does well, as much as I believe this Detroit Country Club Rocket Mortgage Classic does. Joaquin Niemann has been a machine off the tee. He can regularly gain double digits off the tee. He has been an underrated beast off the tee. Recall a few weeks back seeing him in a featured group with some of the really elite big boys on tour, like a Dustin Johnson, and he was just out driving them and going toe to toe. So, and you break down the metrics on Niemann, you do see that the driving absolutely is equal to what happens. The driving stats match your eyeballs when you actually get to watch Niemann drive. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Tons of opportunities from the fairway will lead to him and his immaculate ball striking this week. Am I worried about Niemann around the greens? Is his weakness around the greens, chipping, getting up and down? Of course it is. But if you got to scramble this week, you're already done. You're already done. I don't care. That outright ticket would be a loser anyway. So I'm obviously banging on Niemann's ceiling, great positions off the tee and immaculate ball striking. And he does have the ability to get hot with his putter. Approach play, unconscious, has the ability to get to that unconscious level. And, I've already broken it down what I believe he's capable of off the tee. And the stats do bear that out. So Niemann, Kokrak, 28-1. These are not each ways. These are just straight outrights for me. I don't double up with each ways. When we hit big. Many people will be inclined to play the longer shots this week. I totally get that. You look at a muck event like this, it makes total sense. I just don't have that ability. I see good players. I see opportunities for them to lift trophies. That's what I see. Continuing on my path here, now we've got two players 50-1 and above. Gary Woodland, 55-1 using that Resorts Casino number. I've seen it as low as 40 when using that odds checker grid. So, hey, let's take that 20% plus bump and we'll cash, hopefully, a Gary Woodland ticket. I got to say this. Thank you to Odds Checker, because it was a perfect example last week. DraftKings had that high water English number of 50. Using that OC grid, we saw numbers as low as like 33, 35-1. We identified, no, DraftKings has the best number for us for Harris English. If we're lucky enough to hit our Harris English winner, you better believe we're going to take home the biggest number possible. That was from you, DraftKings. Just like this week's biggest number for Woodland comes from Resorts Casino, 55-1. I would still like Gary if you're unable to get that, and 40s are your numbers. 4 straight events with plus approach, right? He's great on par 5s. He plays par 4s, these length par 4s, that like 350 to 400 yard par 4, exceptionally well. He's been popping on lots of leaderboards lately. You go back to it, Wells Fargo, Charles Schwab, PGA Championship. I'm drawing a blank on the U.S. Open, but I'm going to tell you, I think he performed well there also. Maybe the PGA and the U.S. Open are kind of overlapping, but every time we saw Gary get into a great spot, he found a landmine. I'm going to talk about landmines. They're also going to come into play with my next bet. But I don't think the landmines are here. The landmines aren't here in Detroit. This isn't Kiowa Island. This isn't Torrey Pines. Do you feel me? We get on these birdie runs with Woodland. I'm anticipating we're not going to have the landmine that a major championship setup, has everywhere to get us the double, to knock us back. No landmines. Gary keeps chugging forward. I really do like this. We get those bent grass POA greens. He's a bit of an animal on, he's had his best peak performances in life on that POA. So I guess we can go with that. But I'm here for Gary Woodland this week, 55-1, using that Resorts Casino. Lastly, Max Homa. Credit to my partner in crime, Monday morning podcast of my guy at the PME, Pat Mayo. He identified a very large Homa number out of the gate. I believe he was able to get it in at 75-1 on Bet365 out of the gate on Monday. I wasn't even able to come in until a 66-1. He still talked me into it, and it's as low as 50-1 right now. So how do you put this? So obviously, I guess people are believing in the fact that this is an opportunity, a potential opportunity for Homa this week, but it makes you wonder because when you look at his last starts, let me run these off for you, friends. Miscut, 6th, miscut, 6th, miscut, 10th. You're like, Fienberg, you want to step in front of that? Yeah, I absolutely do. At a field with this sort of field strength, this is an outright bet. I'm not betting it's a head-to-head. I'm not saying I'm rostering Homa and DraftKings. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. From an outright perspective, you get a guy like Max Homa. Boom or bust. That's what it's about, guys. We make these outright bets. It's boom or bust. They can miss the cut. That's worth as much as the guy that finished in 4th place. That really is. My Fowler bet last week, he missed the cut. Well, guess what? It paid out as much as the Bubba Watson bet. Did that Bubba Watson bet have more entertainment? Did it last 2.5 days longer? Yeah, of course it did. I should have picked Bubba over Ricky. Of course. Would I have felt better sleeping on Saturday? Yes. But it all ends up being the same. So what are we seeing here with these Homa results? It's boom, it's bust. But the boom can lead to a great opportunity. And if you boom this week, you're probably not going to end up in a playoff. There's so few elite players here, sort of like Harris English. Harris English played well. He got into that playoff. Had Harris English had to face a Patrick Cantley, a Patrick Reed, a Bryson DeChambeau, a Brooks Koepka in the playoff, do you think one of those guys lets it get to the 7th, 8th hole? Or do you think they birdie it in the first couple and Harris just comes in second? No. Harris got a battle hit Kramer Hickok. They both made some great pars. They both battled, but no one, until the 8th hole, no one took it. My point being is Max Homa, when he gets into contention this week, there's like a 95% chance he's the best, he's the better, higher ranked player of those guys. It's been a really long-winded way of saying I'm betting on the ceiling. If you miss cuts, you live with it. But he does have those boom weeks. We also talked about how important putting is and the potential for the boom putting week. Well, Max Homa absolutely brings that, because let me tell you, those 3 top 10 finishes surrounded by all those missed cuts, a plus 6 point putt. He gained 6.5 strokes putting in one, 5.7 strokes putting in one, 7.9 strokes putting in the other. So he kind of has that recipe that if we get the boom week, I'm actually expecting that podium finish lead to that outright. You feel me? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Tell me, fade me. These are my picks. That, you know, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So we got 4 outrights: Kokrak, Niemann, Homa, and Woodland. That's what I got for you. We'll be back tomorrow with some props, maybe even a couple, north of 100-to-1 bombs, because as always, there are a couple guys in and of that range that always do grab my attention. And, this event does feel like it could lead to something like that. I am Geoff Fienberg. Thank you for sticking with me in this video. Thank you for liking, subbing, leaving a comment. Tell me who you think is going to win the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Geez, all the tournament names are like spinning circles in my head right now. Okay, that's it. I'm Geoff Fienberg. Thank you, oddschecker.com/US. And I'll be back later in the week. So don't forget to sub to this feed. Those will drop right into your video. Let's catch another one, friends. I'm out.